Okay, back again with another video on this whole project. You might remember from the last video we did on this, I was moving this parts frame out back here in the woods out of the way of the main area just so it wasn't crowding up room and I could get to work with getting the rear drums and whatnot on the other truck. But this still had the rear wheels on it when I wheeled it in here with the boom truck. So anyways, before we get started here, I hate to do this, but we're going to do kind of a time jump. And that's only to save me trouble and you guys the trouble of watching through the footage I recorded of this last year when all this was going on. Basically, all the old footage from last year was filmed on my old camera, and it's really crappy quality, and I'd just rather not put it on the channel and go through all the trouble of trying to make it look better and seem better. So what I'm going to do is just give you a whole in a nutshell type thing of what I did and show you what I did rather than forcing you to watch all the old crappy footage. Hopefully I can cut down the rambling time here and get on with the point. But so I got this back here, had the rear wheels on it. I pulled the wheels off and attempted to pull the brake drums. I got this side off. That one, the bearing was all in pieces. You might remember hearing it squealing like crazy and the wheel locking up when I tried to get this back here. So I could not get that drum off, but I got this one off. And all of the DC-3 aircraft tires from that frame are in a pile now, out of the way. And here's what I accomplished after getting that frame out of the way and pulling the rear drums off. So I got the GMC drum on this side. I put it on, everything was good. I used the wheel bearing, everything worked fine. Greased it all up and got it on. Luckily the spindles are the same size, same thread, same everything. And I was able to get one wheel on. And then on this side, when I found this truck in the woods, there were two brake drums that came with it. They were laying on the ground. And luckily one of them was the rear Chevy style brake drum. So what I had to do, I was working in snow at this point. It was late in the fall when I started this whole thing. So I was doing this in the snow. I got a new old stock wheel bearing from eBay, slapped that on there. I had to repair the spindle threads on this side with a special tool. Got this brake drum on, got the nut tightened down on the bearing on the spindle, and got this wheel on. So that was a big moment, getting this truck up on four wheels. I mean, it looks a million times better already. The first time it's been up on four wheels in over 40 years. I mean, it was just sitting in the woods, laying in the dirt with an incomplete front axle and no suspension and everything, as you recall, when I found it. So this is a lot of progress right here. Something else I did when I bolted this leaf spring stack in from the parts frame over there, I forgot the actual shackle that bolts in here, and so I had to drop this spring out and then put this back in. It was real simple to do, but if you guys picked up on that in the previous video, then yeah, I took care of that. So I was working in the snow. I finally got it up on four wheels. And then after I got the four wheels on it, I took the steering box column and wheel that I pulled from the parts frame, got them bolted into the Chevy here. And as you can see, it's all hooked up. It'll steer now. Open the door here. She's got complete steering, and like I say, it will steer now. So that's another big moment right there, because I tried to order buy a whole steering assembly out of Montana from a guy parting one of these out, and it was going to be like $700 just to ship it here, and that was crazy. So this kind of stuff is hard to find. So luckily that 6x6 frame that was converted to four-wheel drive gave me all these parts: the front axle, the steering, the brake drums, everything. And then these wheels I got with the purchase of the boom truck here. So then I had the wheels to put this on. So everything's kind of working in combination with one another, and it's going really good. And I can't remember if I mentioned this in any of the previous videos, but the steering boxes on these trucks The castings on them are famous for cracking out where they mount, like that. So this box that I pulled from the frame has been cracked and repaired. And as you see on this truck, the thing completely broke off and the guy moved it on top of the frame and absolutely Alaskified everything together, and so on and so forth. So that's what I had filmed last fall on my old camera, getting it on wheels, getting the steering in. Now, the next part, in the parts pile over here, you might recall I had two motors sitting here. One was the original out of this truck that I pulled, tore all apart back in 2018. Pulled that motor all apart. It was about to throw a rod. So that's why that truck got parked and parted out. And then when I bought the boom truck there, the 41, I got another 235 inline six with that deal along with the pile of the normal size wheels. So I've planned all along, well, that motor is going to go into this truck because, you know, I got it as part of the deal with the other one. That's where the next holdup comes into play. So this summer, earlier this summer, I picked up that motor, took it to the shop, tore into it. It was seized. It had all kinds of water damage. Two lifters were completely rusted in. Number 6 piston was rusted in really bad. And then I turned it upside down, put it on a stand. And the crazy part is somebody actually assembled that motor with the wrong size rod bearings and pistons. So if that motor was not seized and I tried to run it and didn't tear into it, it would have destroyed itself anyway. Now I gotta keep searching for a motor for this thing. Well, a couple weeks ago, a friend contacted me and he said, hey, I have a GMC 270 inline 6 I just picked up for 50 bucks. Do you want it? You can have it for what I paid for it. So I drove 2 hours, picked it up, brought it back, and the next video in this series will be on that. And the GMC 276s are what they put in the GMC 6xs. So these trucks resemble each other in a lot of ways, and as we know, parts from these will go into those direct bolt-in, like the front axle, the steering, brake drum, stuff like that. But they're also different in a lot of ways. The transmissions are 5 speeds, where the Chevys have 4 speeds. The motors are bigger and a little bit different design. They're like an inch and a half longer. But for the people that are fixing up these trucks and they can't find the original 216, 235 style motor, they're actually picking up the GMC 270s and swapping them in to these because they will work. They'll bolt into the original motor mounts. You just have to make a plate because the block is longer on the 270. You have to make a little plate to adapt it to the front cross member. But it can be done, and that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so that's where I'm at. The next video will be the process of getting that 270 ready to go into this truck. And then the following videos after that will be a lot more interesting. I mean, the videos that I cut out and chose to explain to you rather than show you, it was just kind of boring stuff. I mean, winching that truck up and putting the other front axle in it was the most exciting thing of this whole thing. I mean, brake drums, getting wheels on and putting steering in is kind of self-explanatory, and I can just show you the end result rather than drag you along through it. So anyways, thanks for your patience and thank you for watching. I'm sure excited to get this truck going, and it's really refreshing to see it up on 4 wheels. I mean, that's big in itself compared to how it was when I found it. It's on 4 wheels, it'll roll and it'll steer now, so that's awesome. So until the next video, I will see you later.